How easy is it to say Black Americans built this country and immigrants helped make it the melting pot that it is today?
Immigrants built this country, literally. Actually, so this is for them, for all children of immigrants. This is also for those who came to this country in search of better opportunity to be a part of a nation that promised freedom for all and equal opportunity to everyone willing to work for it.
And while immigrants did contribute to this country was built upon and established by slavery of our ancestors. America would not be here without slavery, so to discredit that by saying immigrants built this country is insulting to our ancestors. Now, after America was established, did immigrants come here and help build things? Yes. The Industrial Revolution and everything after that would not be the same without immigrants, but that was after America was already established. So no, I am not trying to discredit what these immigrants have done for this country. But to say that they have built this country is discredit and a disservice to the Black Americans that were put through slavery for generation after generation. Because of that slavery, America is where it is today. And without slavery, America would not be here. So we need to do away with immigrants built this country because slavery built this country. And who was enslaved? Black America.
Immigrants 100% built America, and we should absolutely be giving them credit for that. I could literally give you 1,000 reasons why immigrants built America. They're responsible for the stagnation of minimum wage because they prioritize their small business tax cuts for cross-racial labor solidarity, fracturing the working class and blocking universal wage hikes. They're the architectures of Jim Crow. While the elites might have designed it, they enforced it daily. It was relied on their complicity and participation. They're the reason why we don't have universal health care because they have historically aligned themselves with conservatives as a path to assimilation into whiteness. They're the reason why welfare programs have disappeared because they keep perpetuating the bootstrap myth. They're the reason why Black communities are over-policed because they keep perpetuating the model minority myth and they keep pathologizing Black American behavior. And they're the reason for ICE, which was primarily staffed and built by first and second generation immigrants from militarized cultures. They are the co-creators of white supremacy. They absolutely deserve credit for that. You have helped build the exact system in which you are complaining about today. And the only reason that you're complaining now is because the benefits that you got from upholding the system are drying up. And now all of a sudden you don't see this country as such a great place. But it was great when Black people were the only people who were being harmed by it. But now that that harm is crossing over to everyone, now all of a sudden America is a fascist country. Please. This is absolutely the country that you built. You are 100% right. Immigrants built America. Everything that's fucking wrong with it, you helped build. You have consistently worked against Black people's fight for social equality and justice. So yes, you built America. Congratulations. You built a fucking ticking.
No. Black people actually did not build America. The first people were Native Americans here at least 15,000 years ago, and some evidence is even saying 30,000 years ago. The first Europeans arrived with the Vikings around 1000 AD, and then Columbus in 1492, right? Yeah. Spanish settlement in 1496, and English at Jamestown in 1607. So the first Black people arrived as enslaved Africans on August 25 in 1619 at Point Comfort in Virginia. And America was already being built by native hands and then by white settlers long before the first Black souls stepped ashore. And on that slave ownership topic, like in 1860, only 1.26% of Americans, they even owned slaves. So when 99% didn't, do you think that 99% worked nothing? I mean, sure, the hard work of Africans later helped grow the nation, yes, but the foundation was laid centuries, even millennia earlier. So you guys need to stop with that guilt and wrong history being taught in schools. And for me, the skin color doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter. We are all one human family, but behavior and cults and values and morals, they do matter.
For years, we've had the same statement. Immigrants built America. Said loud, said proudly, said like a mic drop. But now, The same people are getting deported. Families are being ripped apart, and suddenly, Black Americans are being asked to show up. So the question is simple: where was that energy before?
Immigrants did not build America. Slaves and their descendants, Black Americans, built America, like quite literally with their hands, okay? Let me explain to you the issue with Shabuzi's Grammy speech. Let me start by saying that immigrants have greatly enriched this country, okay? We would not be where we are without them. However, they did not build America. And I think this is such an important distinction to make during Black History Month, because the comment, immigrants built America, is rooted in the erasure of Black contribution, okay? Specifically, Black American contribution, however involuntary it was. I understand that Shabuzi was coming from a good place when he said that immigrants built this country, but historically and factually, it is incorrect, baby. Chattel slavery built this country, and it is important to recognize that. People don't want to talk about slavery, but the reality is that slavery in the cotton economy is what gave America its legs, baby. There would be no America without slavery. The enrichment that is immigration did not come until significantly after slavery, right? Slavery dates back to the 1600s, girl, okay? All the way until 1865, where we get the Emancipation Proclamation. And even after this point, there were some Black people who were still being held captive as slaves because they just didn't get the news yet, girl, okay? So when you think about that, how long slavery spanned, okay? And the fact that we get ushered into Reconstruction and Jim Crow, and slaves are now repurposed as sharecroppers, right? Or repurposed into roles in which they are only good for service. They are only good for, functional positions.
Now, let's be clear. Before the comments get lecherous, this video is not about celebrating deportations. This is not anti-immigrant, and this is not about punching down. This is about narratives and who only remembers Black folks when they need protection. Because for a long time, immigrants built America wasn't about unity. It was used as a counter argument, as in, why are Black Americans complaining? Look what immigrants did. And that part, people are tired of pretending they didn't hear it.
That help prop up the country, not actual careers, not anything actually profitable. Like literally, Black people simply migrated from slavery into something else until we get into the civil rights era. For the people who think that we're arguing semantics, not only is this an important distinction to make so that we are recounting American history and Black history accurately, but also because the suppression of Black history, the erasure of Black history, okay, is what leads to the repetition of these atrocities, not on Black bodies, but onto others. And this idea that Black history and American history, when it repeats, that it's going to repeat with the same people, it does not. It does not. And I think we're seeing a little bit of the proof, but that will never, ever, ever change the fact that the biggest and greatest group affected by American history, affected by the American plight, and that actually built America is Black American descendants of slaves.
Let's slow this all the way down. Before Ellis Island, before border crossings, before visas and even green cards, this country was built on enslaved Black labor, stolen indigenous land, centuries of unpaid work. That's not opinion, that's history. So when slavery gets skipped, when Jim Crow gets skipped, when redlining gets skipped, and someone jumps straight to immigrants build America, that doesn't feel like pride. That feels like erasure. Let's continue with the clips.
I am currently asking for a ceasefire. I'm asking for a ceasefire between the Somalis and the African Americans. Please. We got something bigger going on right now. This is a divide and conquer situation happening in Minnesota. Y'all know Y'all know we ride together when situations arise out here. When that George Floyd stuff happened, baby, we was out there. Ain't nobody was asking what type of black you was. We all felt that.
Well, fast forward to now. So deportations are rising and protections are shrinking, and politicians who smiled for votes are suddenly silent. Now the message changes. Now it's we need solidarity. We are all minorities. We need black support. And some black Americans are asking very fair question. Where was that solidarity when we were talking about police violence, mass incarcerations, reparations? Because silence is an option too. But here is where the conversation usually breaks. Immigrants being deported are not the people making immigration laws. They didn't create the system, they are just being crushed by it. And here is the uncomfortable truth. The same system that targets immigrants today has targeted black Americans for centuries. Different moment, same playbook. Divide the bottom, protect the top. So, no, this isn't about laughing at anyone's pain, but it is about accountability. Solidarity can't be selective. You don't get to minimize Black history for decades and then call for support during crisis. At the same time, Black folks don't have to celebrate injustices just because it finally hits someone else. Two things can be true. Here is what nobody wants to say out loud. When marginalized groups fight each other, nobody in power loses. Not the politicians, not the corporations, not even the system. The only people who lose are the ones already struggling. And history shows this over and over again. So maybe the real conversation isn't why won't the Black Americans help? Maybe it is why was the Black pain negotiable until someone else needed protection? That's not hatred, that's memory. And memory makes people uncomfortable. So if this made you think, hit the subscribe button to join the family. Make sure you like this video and the others. And if this made you uncomfortable, comment. But remember, make it respectful. And if you believe solidarity has to be real, not convenient, subscribe. Because we are not done having the conversations people avoid. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.